Chimpanzees are just walking testicles. Their bodies just exist to support massive testes. Why? Because in chimp society, we say hello, sex. We say goodbye, sex. We fight, sex. Post-fight, sex. So there is constant sex happening so that the same female is being impregnated by multiple males. So the way that I fight against that is by developing bigger testes, because then there are mechanisms where having bigger testes solves that problem. So now here comes Robin Baker, actually a British scientist who wrote a book called Sperm Wars, where he argued in his book, the morphology of human sperm,
the makeup of it
is not simply the standard one that we're all used to seeing, which is there is a head with a tail and they're all rushing to that mythical egg. He demonstrated in his research that there are two other types of sperm phenotypes within a man's ejaculate. There are the blockers that don't look like the fertilizer, and then there are the killers that go around hunting other men's sperm. Sperm is viable within a woman's reproductive tract for about 72 hours. Therefore, for men to have evolved the chemical weaponry to have blockers and killers means that in our ancestral past, the likelihood of women having been with more than one man within a 72-hour period, whether willfully or through aggression, would have been high. Therefore, that's why you evolve that response. Now, here's where you can see what happens with ideology and therefore why I wrote Parasitic Mind. When I lecture this in front of radical feminists, they'll come up, Dr. Saad, you're such a brilliant scientist. Why? Because the research that I just described demonstrates that women could be just as sexually voracious as men, and that they've evolved the desire also for, a sexual appetite. That corresponds with my women's studies and radical feminism classes. Therefore, when from this side of my mouth, I say something that supports their ideology, I become a hero. If from this side of my mouth, I say, oh, but incidentally, across cultures, it's been studied across many, many cultures, men do have much greater desire for sexual variety. Boo. So I can either go from hero to zero, depending on whether what I just said supports your ideology or not. That's not how you adjudicate science. Science, truth, exists independently of whether it supports your ideology or not, hence eventually the parasitic mind, because you're parasitized by bad ideologies.